Okay, guys, hope you're all well. I think as I've told you a few times, and hopefully you heard me, this for these two lessons we're combining them, so there'll be one test for both lessons because they both have to do with states of matter. This one's just has more emphasis or concentrates more on changes of state, which is kind of what we're doing in IXL. Okay, so let me get this out of here. For this lesson, you will be able to explain when a substance gains or loses energy. And we kind of know that from the last lesson. When it gains energy, it's probably going to go from a solid to a liquid or a liquid to a gas. Or if it loses, it'll go from a gas to a liquid or a liquid to a solid. This will be a little bit new to you. This was in one of the IXLs previously, the law of conservation of energy, and we'll look at that more today. And then explain what these words are. We don't do a lot of vocabulary in here, but we probably are for these: melting, freezing, boiling, condensation, evaporation, sublimation, and deposition. So you'll need to know what all those words are. All right. And again, we will talk about how mass is conserved. It's a weird term. You just almost kind of have to believe it because it's sort of hard to see. All right. Our Ohio standard for this is changes of state are explained by a model of matter composed of atoms and molecules that are in motion. We know that even the atoms in a solid are in motion. The rest are just things that we do all the time. All right, kind of go quickly through these, unscramble these words, solids that you would find if we were here at school. Well, anyone have a guess? First one is pencil. Then it looks like we have desk. And then I bet we have books. And then I bet we have the door. Yeah. All right, this is a good question, and we might have this in some of our work later. Write your own caption for this photo. Well, what could we say dealing with states of matter here? We have a popsicle. Apparently it's been dropped because it's laying on the ground. And what is happening there? Well, a good answer would be it's begun to melt after exposure to heat from the sunlight. We could take it a step further. What then is going to happen to the liquid where it melted? Well, eventually it will evaporate because it appears to be outdoors. So we'll look at those terms here in a little bit. All right. Some words that you need to know. Converted. When an ice cube melts, a solid is converted to a liquid. That word is changed. To convert means to change. And then hopefully you know what the word constantly means. And that means all the time. Here are your 7 vocabulary words. We will be doing some activities with those probably next week or when we get back from Thanksgiving, but you need to absolutely know those 7 terms. All right. What happens when matter changes state? When matter changes state, its physical form changes, but it's not its identity. So let's think back. That means then it has to be what kind of change? Physical or chemical? It's not changing its identity, so it has to be physical. All right, to change a substance from one to another, energy has to be added or removed. So again, think about putting water on the stove. Okay, the temperature will be added, the energy will be added, so the water will boil. All right. So when the substance gains or loses energy, the temperature changes or its state changes or both. All right. And again, energy must be added or removed to change it from one state to another. And these changes do not happen at the same time, and the temperature will remain constant until the change of state is complete. And we'll get into more examples of that in a bit. All right, let's look at this graph here. says use the graph to determine which point A, B, or C would represent a candle melting. And they want you to circle it, but I just want to talk about it. So down here at A, the temperature remains at the melting point until all of the solid changes to a liquid. So the candle has been lit, so the temperature is going up. Okay, so here is where is the melting point. Then up here, the temperature remains at the boiling point until all the liquid changes to a gas. Okay, that you don't see probably much with a candle. All right, so what do we think? All right, where the candle melts is A. That's why it is called the melting point. Get it? Okay. All right. When a substance changes state, the atoms either break away from each other, so think of an ice cube turning into water, or the other way around, they become more attracted, so think of water going to ice. And when that happens, the energy is always conserved, and this is such a weird thing. It's the same type of concept with mass too. You have the same amount of energy, it's just in a different form. And that's what the word conserved means. Okay, we'll look at this picture and then we'll be done for today. It says determine whether water particles will have more or less freedom to move at each stage, right? More or less in each box. Well, let's just look at these. Okay, so down here, we're gaining energy. So are they going to have more freedom or less? Well, they're going to have more because they're gaining energy. Okay, so now they're becoming a gas up in the clouds. Now the water's condensing in the clouds and it's going to rain. So they're losing energy. So here they're going to have more freedom or less. Good. Now it's gaining energy again. Oh, because it was a solid apparently, and now it's going to a liquid, I'm thinking. And that would be more. Okay, that's kind of a hard to tell graphic there. All right, let's look down here. Identify whether each picture will show a gain of energy or a loss. So we want either a 1 or a 2. This is a good one. An ice cube melts. What do we think? Are we gaining energy or losing it? We are gaining it. Okay. Now, here we've got a puddle. It's drying up. It's evaporating. Gaining or losing? Turning from a liquid to a gas, so that would be gaining. And here we have a lake that will freeze like this winter, going from a liquid to a solid, and that would be a loss of energy. All right, you will have questions with this. They are attached to this assignment. Basically, this lesson is kind of just a review or an extension of the last lesson, so you guys should be pretty good at what's happening. Okay, so take care and have a good weekend.